Welcome back to Don't Make Me Tap Again. I am your host, Angie Grant. And here in this podcast, it's all about using the power of EFT tapping to release negative energy that is no longer serving us. So, as humans, we hold on to layer after layer after layer of generational influences on the way that we show up, right? Past generations have it etched their stories onto our DNA. And we've had lived experiences that have caused us to create stories about what's okay for us, but they might not all be true. And energetically, through human design, we hold on to energies that aren't really ours to hold on to, or we get stuck in the shadow elements of energies. So, here in this podcast, I will oftentimes use tapping to help us tap through specifically struggles that we have as humans and oftentimes as parents. But I also like to use this podcast as a way to help us settle in with the current celestial energy that we're in right now. So, today we are in the gate 54. It's called the gate of divine inspiration. I'm checking my notes to make sure I don't mess anything up, but we're in gate 54. And when I think about this gate, to me, it is that like we feel this pressure. It's in the root center. We feel this pressure that we have to do more to create and to be fulfilled in life, in this world, right? We're taught this story that in order to have, we must work harder. But gate 54 teaches us to let go of some of that pressure. Let go of that pressure and actually allow and create space for divine inspiration. When we're really settling in to this energy in its highest expression, it's about allowing the inspiration to come in and to settle into us without the pressure of doing anything about it. This energy, the energy of gate 54, is a beautiful energy that it does have this innate pressure in it, and yet it's not asking us to do anything with it. It's asking us to allow space for that inspiration. Because when we allow that space, we create opportunities to show up in our life. We we open our mind to see things that we didn't see were possible before because we allowed that inspiration. And like I said, I like to talk about how to use these tools to support us as parents, to support our kids. And I think about that, right? When our kids are young, they are just wide open and ready to receive whatever inspiration shows up. Our kids' imagination is wild. And then we teach them that they need to be more practical. They need to be more realistic. They need to have a fear that there won't be enough for them and that perhaps they need to scrounge and save and hold on to and hoard, right? These are the things that we teach our kids who are already open to divine inspiration. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't teach our kids. We shouldn't teach them how to have a work ethic. We shouldn't teach our kids how to make money, how to pay their bills, right? I'm not at all saying that we shouldn't do those things. But what I really want us to do is to use this energy to reflect on, are the stories that we tell about money and abundance, are they true? Are the things that we hold to believe really serving us in reaching our fullest potential, in serving our higher good? Because the more that I reflect on these concepts and really wrap my head around the stories that I've been told through well-meaning parents and adults and teachers and guides, right? There's so many stories that I hold on to that there might not be enough. And yet, when I open myself to receive, and when I trust in abundance, then things just flow in so much easier than when I'm grasping so hard, so desperately to let them come in, right? So, with that being said, let's tap through an EFT sequence all about this gate 54, divine inspiration. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm going to try a slightly different technique. There's so many different ways to use EFT tapping. So we're going to start with our karate chop um, pressure point as we start. And then we're going to go through a few different sequences. And I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to mix up the wording a little bit to show you that there are different ways to use EFT tapping. There isn't just one way ever for anything. So let's get started. So if you at all are struggling with feeling that pressure to do, that pressure to create, that pressure to do more, or that fear that there isn't enough, or that fear of lack, that fear of what if, right? If either of those are part of your story, then I really encourage you to tap along. So follow my tapping, copy me, and copy my words too, because, well, here's what I know. EFT tapping doesn't work if you don't actually do it. If you just tap and you don't say the words, well, you'll probably feel a little bit more peace and calm because that's the power of the pressure points, right? But that story will still be part of your experience if you're not also then saying the words. It's the two things together. Or if you just say the words and you don't tap, you might start to think about your story a little bit differently, but your body's still going to be holding on to that fear. So I encourage you to try it. I find it to be just such a beautifully powerful tool. So, all right, here we go. So, even though I feel pressure to succeed or move ahead, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though part of me feels like I have to prove my worth, I'm open to releasing that pressure. Even though I've been pushing myself to grow faster, I choose to honor my timing. Right, top of the head. This pressure to rise. Inside the eye, this need to prove. On the side of the eye, always pushing forward. Under the eye, never feeling enough. Under the nose, carrying ambition in my body. On the chin, it's safe to slow down. On the collarbone, I'm feeling this pressure to rise. Under the arm, always pushing forward. How are you feeling? Did you notice any shifts in your energy, perhaps in your story about abundance and trusting? I want to go through a couple more sequences just to help that energy continue to settle in. So let's let's jump right into the next one. So even though I've learned that growth requires struggle, I'm open to a new way. Even though I associate ambition with burnout, I choose aligned growth instead. Even though I don't know how to rest and still grow, I'm willing to learn. Deep breath. Top of the head. Hustle energy. Inside the eye. Hustle energy. On the side of the eye. Forced ambition. Under the eye. Growing from pressure. Under the nose. What if growth could feel supportive? On the chin. What if aspiration could feel calm? On the collarbone. What if aspiration could feel calm? Under the arm. I don't have to rush my evolution. Mm. How are you feeling now? Are you feeling any less pressure to prove your worth? Any less pressure to do, to push forward an idea? I'd like to tap one more time, and this time we're just going to focus on the acupressure points. We're not going to do the karate chop, and just follow along. I feel a yawn. Oh my goodness. I feel a yawn coming on. And of course, I always feel a little embarrassed when that happens, but here's the thing. It's a good thing. When our body is yawning, it means that that energy, that negative energy is escaping. It's getting out of our body. And so let it out. All right. So I'm allowed to want more without pushing myself. My growth can be steady and aligned. I trust the timing of my transformation. I release comparison. I release competition. I choose aspiration rooted in purpose. I am becoming, and that is enough. Hmm. I release pressure and allow for my growth to unfold with integrity and ease. That is how I want to wrap up this podcast episode today is that you deserve more. You deserve to let that pressure go and to allow inspiration, to allow what is meant for you. So that is all that I have for today. And I can't wait to tap again. So take care and we'll tap soon.